and deliciousness. It's time to make heroes, and I'm going to make a hero out of you because these things are so crispy, so juicy, and so flavorful that I really think this method is better than what you'll get at restaurants off that vertical spit. So let's get right into it. Go ahead and put your meats in a mixing bowl. I've got 60% lamb and 40% beef in there. And then, of course, dump in all your spices. I'll have that recipe down below for you. And we'll go ahead and mix it up right here. You actually want to overmix it until it's combined like paste or Play-Doh consistency. So it took me about 5 minutes total in the mixer right there. So now we're going to move this over to a aluminum foil lined pan, and we're going to roll it out super thin, trying to get it to that hero slice thickness, which is about 1/4 of an inch. Alright, so now I'm going to foolishly mix this up with my hands, but you could easily just put another layer of foil on top or plastic wrap and roll it out with a rolling pin. Probably be a lot faster, but I guess I just like the feeling of meat in my hands. So now that my hands have slowed down, we're going to go ahead and carry this tray off into the freezer. We're going to freeze it for about 30 to 45 minutes, and that's just to cool it down and make it easier to work with. You want it to really hold its shape, but you don't want to keep it in there too long, because then ice crystals will form, and when you cook it, all those juices will just run out so fast. The meat will be super dry. So now that it's cooled down, we'll be slicing it into inch-wide slices, and then we want the length to be about 6 to 7 inches long, so one slice will fit the entire width of pita. That first cut is pretty much just hero nuggets. The back 2 rows are about pita length, so those are perfect. Happy meats for you and me. So now it's time to actually fry our meats off. You're going to want to get the oil hot, about 350 to 375. I'm using peanut oil here. And when you're laying the meat down, make sure to lay it away from you. And that's just to make sure that the oil doesn't splash back at you. So we're going to be frying the meat 3 different ways. First way is just straight up meat. You just go ahead and pull the meat slices from the tray and put it in the hot oil. You want to give the meat about a minute or 2 on each side, depending on the thickness, so it gets that nice golden brown crust. And when you remove them from the oil, just make sure you have a plate with paper towels on it. And that's just going to catch all the excess oil to help give you a nice crispy crust. So now we've got the second version in the pan. Oh, but look at that. Oh my god. So juicy. Ooh, yeah. Tastes so good. Yeah, the second version, you just dredge it lightly in flour and shake off the excess. Really not that difficult to do, but it makes such a huge difference. The crust is just amazing. It's so crispy and fluffy and juicy and tender. If you can't tell, it's my favorite version. So the only thing different you're going to do with these when you take them off is just sprinkle some kosher salt on top. And we're just doing that because the flour we used was just plain flour. And now, the sound of crispy crust. As you can hear, the four on the right are more crispy. Those are the ones that were floured. And now we're going to look at it. Ooh, you can see how crispy it is. Look at that crust around the outside. Crunchy, juicy, tasty meat. Now for the third and final version, it's just double dredged in flour. So I floured some pieces of meat and shook off the excess, put it back in the freezer for a little bit while I was frying the other pieces off, and pulled these out, dredged them again, and they were definitely as crispy or crispier than the second version, but at some point you're making hero nuggets. So the crust was just a little too thick for me. It was still super crispy and super good, but it just wasn't for my taste. You might like it though. And since this version's floured as well, just go ahead and salt it once you take it out. And now it's time to assemble! For me, my perfect hero has a good bit of tzatziki, a nice toasted pita, a few Kalamata olives, some crumbled feta cheese, roasted tomatoes, and some thinly sliced white onion. I didn't have white onion this time, so it's not quite perfect, but it is so close. So as you can see, I'm trying to layer the flavors in there. That way, every bite I take is going to have a little bit different ingredients, and that's really going to make the whole hero exciting because it's not the same throughout. Well, yeah, I definitely didn't need that second piece of meat. Just that one piece would have been perfect. It's definitely overstuffed, but it's so delicious. That savory meat with the tangy tzatziki sauce and the roasted tomatoes. Each one of the ingredients in there just plays so well with each other. Once I took that first bite, it was over for taking pictures. I mean, it's that good that my mind just went completely blank. So yeah, that's the perfect hero. You really got to try it because it'll blow anything you've had before out of the water. It's so delicious, and it's really a simple recipe. Check out my tzatziki sauce video if you haven't already. I'll also show you how to make homemade pita bread and roasted tomatoes. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe.